When was the last time you felt in control of your business finances? Expenses tracked, invoices sent, taxes ready. That's where Found comes in. Found brings your banking, bookkeeping, invoicing, and taxes together in one simple app. Manage expenses, invoice clients, send payments, and prep for tax time right where you bank. Join the hundreds of thousands who have already streamlined their finances with Found. Open a Found account for free at found.com. That's FOUND.com. Found is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services provided by Lead Bank, member FDIC.
As a small business owner, have you ever felt overwhelmed by the pressure of choosing the right hire or leading a team? Or have you ever found yourself tolerating a bad hire because you fear trying and failing again as you repeat the hiring process? If so, you're not alone, and you are in the right place. Welcome to the Growing Your Team podcast. The Growing Your Team podcast teaches business owners like you to expand your unique business by teaching you to master the hiring and team management process. Hiring and managing a team does not have to be a challenge. You just have to learn to do it right. And the Growing Your Team podcast teaches you how to become a confident leader who hires right every single time. Now, let's jump into the show where each episode you will learn tips on how to identify what type of help you need on your team, how to source amazing candidates, how to conduct interviews that lead you to your ideal team member, how to onboard successfully, and how to lead every person in your business so you have a team of rock stars who you are happy to pay every single paycheck. So let's jump in and teach you how to hire like a pro. Hello, Jamie Van Kuyk here, and welcome back to the Growing Your Team podcast. All right, so we are in the middle of July. I know a lot of my listeners have kids, so we are, depending on where you live, in the middle of or getting near the end of the summer hustle. You know, routines are different for if you have older kids, you're juggling camps, you're juggling vacations, and maybe your business is going a little bit on the back burner, or it's not, and you're super stressed out because you're trying to be everywhere all at once while still doing everything in your business. Because of the state that a lot of us are in, I feel like it's a good time right now to do a little bit reminder of the signs that it's time to hire within our business. As business owners, it is very common for us to get into just the flow of things. We're adding things to our plates, we're doing, we're moving, we're grooving, and we don't take the time to step back and look at things in the bigger picture. All we understand is our current struggles, the current fires that we need to put out, the current projects that we are working on. Sometimes it's due to a lack of time, and sometimes it's I forgot I need to do that. So today, I'm just encouraging you to take the next few minutes, pause, and really look at your business with a critical eye to see, do you have the right support on your team, or is it time for you to hire? So today, I'm just going to review the 4 signs it's time to hire. You probably hear me talk about these a lot. If you listen to when I guest on other podcasts, this is typically one of the top questions that come up. So you might be hearing this a lot from me, or this might be the first time you're hearing this information. But no matter what, no matter if it's your first time or your 100th time hearing me say these reasons, take a pause and think about your business. Think about, do you actually have these things going on? Because it's so common, as I said, to forget to actually evaluate your business on this lens when you're just in the day-to-day. And this could be the perfect time for you to go and evaluate your business, because if you're stuck in that summer hustle and you realized it was a pain to get through summer, or you're just burnt out, you might need to evaluate these signs now more than ever, because you might not want to be in the same place next summer. right? Many of us built businesses so we could have freedom, so we could have more control. But if we're stressed out all summer and feel like we can't enjoy time with the kids, we can't go on vacation, we need to be attached to our phone and computer all the time, then something needs to change. So let's break it down, the 4 signs that it's time to hire. Number 1 is you're at capacity. So what does this look like? Being at capacity means you're saying no to your idea client. So these are clients that want to give you their money now, but you're saying, no thanks. It could be that you have to turn someone away and send them directly to a competitor. It could be that you have a wait list that is working against you versus for you. Or it could be that if you are product-based, that your product is constantly sold out and it takes a while for you to reproduce the products that people want to purchase. So there's always this period of people want to buy, but they can't buy. I really want to dive a little bit into the wait list because there's a lot of things in marketing where it's create wait lists. Wait lists are great. Wait lists are a marketing tool. And so I just want to break that down a little bit more in case you're confused about that. First, wait lists being a marketing tool for a launch of something new, fabulous. Sometimes we can sell things before we make them or before we really figure everything out or before we have the ability to add that additional time to our calendar to serve the clients in that way. Wait lists can be great at gauging interest. So those aren't the wait lists that we're talking about because those products or services are technically not available to be purchased yet, but you're creating that list of people that you can tap into as soon as they are available. So we're talking about stuff that's coming in the future. That is different than a wait list for what you are currently selling. So when we have a wait list, if it works for us, it becomes this great marketing tool. I can increase my prices because people want to work with me so badly. They will wait the 2 weeks, 2 months, 6 months, 2 years to work with me because I am that in demand. I can charge what I want because people want to work with me. So if you're at a spot where your business is growing and you're reaching your revenue goals and all those things, and you have a wait list, well, your wait list is probably working for you. It's that marketing thing. It's showing how in demand you are. So that's a positive wait list. But then some of us business owners get into this thing where we have a negative wait list. I can't reach my revenue goals because I can't bring on more work right now because I physically cannot do it. I do not have enough hours. I am booking appointments. First appointment time is 2 months out, but I'm struggling to reach my revenue goals this month. So that's one thing where a waitlist is working against you. You want to bring in that more revenue, but you can't because you don't have the time to do the work now, so you have to do the work later. With certain businesses, there is a top of the threshold of how much we can charge. For certain businesses, even if it's not an industry threshold, it is us as businesses because we haven't established ourselves yet. We're not known as that expert. So we can only charge so much because people are only willing to pay us so much for what we offer. So if we can't raise our prices to show that we're in demand and we have a wait list because we cannot bring in or cannot do the work now, but we're not reaching our goals and we're working all the time, that wait list is not working for you. So it's a sign that you are at capacity and you're saying no to your idea client. Once again, I just want to stress that saying no to your idea client because there are sometimes people we have to say no to because they are not right to work with. That's not what we're talking about now. But if you're saying no to your idea client, it's a sign that you need more help. What could this help look like? It could look like bringing in someone that's either going to take back-end work off of your hands. That way you can focus more on client work, or it's going to be someone who can also do client work. So that way there's 2 of you serving your clients or creating your products or whatever it is that's being done within your business. Okay, let's move on to sign number 2, that it's time to hire. Sign number 2 is you're losing customers due to poor customer service. When we are small and we're only serving a few people at a time, we can provide great customer service. As we get more clients, our time becomes more limited and our ability to provide great customer service drops. Customers want to be treated well. Customers want to feel valued. And if we're not providing this, they're going to say, why do you deserve to continue having my money? I just want to call out, with everything we're talking about here around customer service, we're not talking about those overbearing clients, the ones that demand a lot and they want responses as soon as they send an email. They think that they are the center of the world so much that nobody else exists. We're not talking about those clients and customers that just drive you up the wall. We're talking about the people that just expect what is reasonable to be expected. Or we're talking about the customers that expect what you promised them. So when it comes to good customer service, when people don't feel it, they then take their business elsewhere. So if you were once responding to every email in 24 hours or one business day, and now it's taking you a week to respond to emails, and that client has to follow up to get a response, that's a drop in your customer service. If you're always late on your deliverables, then that's a lack of customer service. Your customers feel that. I remember working with someone once and having to really call out, I feel like I don't matter as a client. And the truth was, in the hierarchy of businesses and paying clients, we were on the lower level of payment, of value of our project. So we did keep getting pushed off to the bottom. But when your customers feel that, they pull their money. They speak with their money. So it might be that they cancel contracts. They're taking advantage of whatever that cancellation clause is in there. They are not coming back when they need to do that type of service, or have that type of service, or buy that type of product again. They're going elsewhere. It could also be that they're not referring you. So before, they were your top referrer. They spoke highly of you all over the place. If someone asked, who do you know who does XYZ, they were always shouting your name, and now they don't. Another way that this can show up in your business is with some industries. When a new potential client reaches out, they don't reach out to one person. So think about it this way. If you have a plumbing issue and you want that plumbing issue fixed, you're probably not going to stop at that first plumber you call and wait for them to call you back. You're going to call the next person on the list and the next person until somebody answers and gives you the appointment that you're looking for. So if you are in an industry where you are finding that you're losing customers before you ever even have an opportunity to sign that customer, that could be a sign that you have poor customer service. I was once working with a realtor who was very passionate about the fact that when she was with the client, she did not answer her phone because she wanted that client that she was with to get her full attention and make that client feel valuable. The problem was she was having people call her because they wanted her service. And by the time she returned those calls, they went with another realtor. So she looked at it and said, how much would it cost me to have someone whose job is to answer the phone? And while at first that number seemed really high, especially because the phone's not ringing all the time, but it rings sometimes. So this person, if they were working 40 hours on the clock, they're not going to be on the phone for 40 hours. So she was like, is this worth it? And so we broke it down into, well, how much are you losing with every client that goes with someone else? How much is that average commission worth? And so when we looked at that and we said, when she talks to somebody, what that average commission is, based on her close rates and everything for getting that first conversation for them to become a client, paying for that assistant to answer the phone was a no-brainer because she would be able to bring in way more money with that assistant than she was paying that assistant. So we have to really focus on our customer service levels and how we're treating our customers and how they feel valued, because if that value starts to drop, they will go elsewhere. So you can bring someone in to just focus on your customer service, just answer the phones, just respond to emails, kind of be that assistant there. Or you can hire someone who will help with the client work so that way you can focus your effort on that customer service levels that is outside of that general client work. Okay, so sign number 3. Sign number 3 is you want to do something new in your business, but you can't because your time has to be dedicated to what you're currently doing. So this is different than the first one where we talk about capacity because there might be the opportunity for you to still bring in new clients and things like that with what you're currently doing. But there's this new thing that you're like, this would be great. This would bring in revenue for my business. This would be that fantastic next thing to do, but I know it's going to take a lot of time to do it and get it off the ground, and I don't have that time to do it. So some of the examples I give here are maybe starting your own podcast would be a great marketing tool, but you don't have the ability to learn how to edit, facilitate the guest process, do all this stuff. You really only have time to show up and do those interviews. Well, hiring someone to do the rest of that work could be beneficial because you know it's going to bring in money for your business. Another example is if you are brick and mortar. So whether you are a service-based brick and mortar or you are a product-based brick and mortar, but you have a physical location where clients come to you, maybe your next thing is opening another location in a different area. Well, you can't be 2 places at once, can you? I once knew a business that they had opposite business days. So certain days of the week they were in one location, certain days of the week they were in another location, which was great because they were able to serve people in both locations. But then it went back to problem number 1 where they reached capacity. They had more business in some of the locations than they could serve in 3 days a week. So they needed to then expand because the business owner couldn't be 2 places at once. So if there's something new you want to do in your business, but you can't add it because that's just going to take a lot of time that you don't have, but it's beneficial for your business, that's a sign that you need to hire. It's either hiring someone to take over some of your current work so you can focus on that new endeavor, or it could be hiring someone to help launch that new endeavor. So this is a sign that comes up for a lot of kind of the serial entrepreneurs as you go on to that next idea. How can you focus on that next idea if you still need to be focusing on your current idea? All right. And the last sign that it's time to hire is you lack skill or knowledge that is needed for your business. As business owners, there's a lot that we have to learn. When we started our business, there was a lot that we didn't know. And we had to learn so much. You're even listening to this podcast because there are things that you still need to learn as a business owner. The thing is, there are other things that we don't actually need to know how to do as a business owner. For example, for many business owners, learning how to build a website is not a skill you actually need as a business owner. That website needs to be built, but it doesn't necessarily need to be built by you. Maybe you need to learn enough so you can do some minor updates, but you don't need to know any of the back-end stuff, the layout stuff, the design stuff, any of that. Leave it to the expert. There are other things in your business where it's no longer worth your time to learn and do. We have to remember that our time is valuable as a business owner. We might not pay ourselves on an hourly basis, but we should look at our time and every hour we're spending and what the cost is from our business for us to do that task. Not what it would cost if we hired someone else to do it, but for us as the business owner. Because as the business owner, we should be the highest paid person in our business. Now, there might be some times, I'll just add this little caveat, where we have to pay people higher than us because we need to have that kickstart so we can go focus on revenue generating tasks and bring in that revenue so we can get ourselves back up there. But that should always be temporary. In reality, when we have our good, healthy running business, our scaling business, we should be the highest paid member of our business. Which means, for example, if you charge $200 an hour to do client work, but now you're doing $10 an hour assistant task, which would probably be way more than $10 an hour because thinking minimum wage and things like that. But just for the example, why are you doing that $10 an hour task versus doing more work that where you can charge the $200 an hour to do? Your time is valuable. Every hour you put into something is an hour you're not putting into something else. So why are you trying to learn everything still? Stop. Figure out what you need to know and then leave everything else to the experts. Maybe you need to know enough of this thing so you can evaluate if the work someone else is doing is correct, but you don't actually need to know how to do the tactical things it takes to get that item done. So for example, maybe you want to add additional service because it complements what you do so well, but you're not the expert in that area. So don't focus on trying to learn it yourself. Hire somebody who can do that. For example, just kind of going back in a marketing area, let's say you run a marketing agency. You might be really good at the copywriting, but you are not good at building the websites. Don't stress out learning to build the websites. Hire the person that's going to take your copy and your design and put it all together into that platform. You don't have to do it. Okay, so those are the 4 signs that it's time to hire. You're at capacity, so you're saying no to your ideal client. You are losing customers due to poor customer service. You want to expand but can't because you don't have the time. And you lack skill or knowledge. If you are identifying any of those 4 in your business, it is time to hire. And if you're not experiencing those things right now, okay. But don't forget to come back and review these things every once in a while. We need to take the time to step out of the day-to-day in our business and actually focus on the bigger picture. This is what's going to make our businesses healthy. This is going to make it so we can continue growing and we can sustain and we can achieve all the goals that we have as business owners. So review your business for these 4 signs today, and I say a minimum of every quarter. And if you need help with the hiring part, because you've now identified that you need additional support, Growing Your Team is here to help you in whatever capacity you need. Are you ready to hire a new team member for your business and you want to ensure you hire the person who can succeed in the role, make you happy, and positively impact your bottom line? Then let's talk and see how growing your team can help you master the art of hiring. Through bespoke hiring frameworks and comprehensive guidance, you will learn how to attract candidates who have the passion you desire and the skills needed to succeed. At Growing Your Team, women entrepreneurs and leaders work with us to help them expand their unique businesses by teaching them how to hire like a pro. Let's connect and see how we can help you. Send me an email at jamie@growingyourteam.com. That's Jamie, Jamie, @growingyourteam.com, or head on over to growingyourteam.com/jumpstart, with jumpstart being all one word, and let's talk about how you can become a confident leader who hires right every single time.
Since 2011, American Giant has been making everyday clothing with extraordinary effort. Not in far-off factories, but right here in the USA. We obsess over fabrics, fit, and details, because if you're going to wear it every day, it should feel great and last for years. From the cut of a hoodie to the finishing of a seam, nothing is overlooked. Our supply chain is tight-knit and local, which means less crisscrossing the country and more care in every step. The result is durable clothing, t-shirts, hoodies, sweatpants, and denim that become part of your life season after season. This isn't fast fashion, it's clothing made with purpose by people who care as much about how it's made as how it fits. Get 20% off your first order with code STAPLE20 at American-Giant.com. That's 20% off your first order at American-Giant.com with code STAPLE20.